Well, let's talk to someone who has seen this crisis firsthand. He was part of that Congressional Hispanic Caucus tour this week, Texas Congressman Marc Veasey. First, let me get your reaction to these Facebook groups with apparent ties to CBP. I will not malign law enforcement writ large, but some of these groups that share vulgar posts about the migrants and their care.
Yeah, well, of course, as you know, when we were in El Paso several days ago, that's when it broke that there was a Facebook group. The officials that we talked with that were part of our escort and taking us to the various facilities in El Paso, they told us that they had just heard of this and that they were appalled. The problem that I really have is that if these pages are as old as, and now it's being reported up to 3 years perhaps, how in the world did they just now hear about this? Of course, they should be embarrassed, but we were worried that some of the people that were a part of our escort team may actually be a part of one of these of the Facebook page that we learned about at the time, just because there were so many individuals that were a part of it, current employees that were a part of it. Of course, there were some former employees that made up a big chunk of the Facebook page, but then there were also a lot of current employees too, and that's just unacceptable.
I want to give you an opportunity to tell me what you saw at the border facility that you visited.
I did see that particular sale that Joaquin Castro, my colleague from Texas, was able to record. If I'm not mistaken, that was the sale that was mainly of Cuban migrants. We were told that they are all being forced into that very crowded holding cell, and it looks just like a holding cell, like if you were to visit a large city county lockup in any of our large cities across the country. And we were told that they were all being huddled in there and crammed in there like that because they were all Cubans, and the Cubans don't mix well with people from other Latin American countries. And they were crying. It was very sad. There was one grandmother that actually told of a story of her mentally impaired grandson being separated from her. And what I really think is going on here is that the people that are running these facilities, the people with customs, they have, because you hear a president and the rhetoric that the president uses, and he holds migrants in such low regard that I think they actually feel entitled to do whatever it is they want. I mean, even when we got ready to go to our press conference, we were saying, hey, the people that are out there that are pro-Trump, wearing these MAGA hats, they're going to be saying insulting things to us. Why don't we move the press conference somewhere else? And they wouldn't even entertain it. They wouldn't even allow it. And I just think that they're very indifferent to a lot of the problems and the culture within that agency because they have a president that pretty much just absolutely has has a lack of respect for the law.
2 weeks ago, President Trump halted ICE raids across the country for 2 weeks to, quote, see if the Democrats and Republicans can get together and work out a solution to the asylum and loophole problems at the southern border. That deadline is today. Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, said expressly she would not be working on reforming asylum laws over those 2 weeks. Has anything been done? Have you all gotten together to try and solve this very urgent problem?
I hope that we do. Of course, if
today's the deadline. About this,
today is the deadline, and Congress goes back in on Tuesday. I hope that we can work. In my opinion, we need to obviously pass a comprehensive immigration reform bill. That's what will ultimately fix this entire problem. The thing that Donald Trump is talking about is politics as usual. We have strong asylum laws right now. We adopted the Refugee Act of 1980 and adopted the Geneva Convention asylum laws, including the definition of who can seek asylum, and we need to follow those. We'll
see. We'll see if you guys can get together and sort this awful problem out. Congressman Veasey, thanks so much for joining me tonight. We'll be right back.